Hey guys, welcome back to Explore Electronics Plus. In this video, let's understand 5 very important things to know about design verification. Let us understand why design verification, what we do in design verification, how actually this design verification will be helpful in IC design industry. Let us get into the video. The very first question, the basic question is that what exactly is design verification? What you are going to do here as a design verification engineer. The design verification is a crucial process in any electronic IC design. It ensures that electronic system or the IC you are going to verify will meet the required specification as well as the behavior. It means the functional correctness of the design will be verified here. Functional correctness in the sense what? The logic or the truth table what you are going to write for the particular design, that will be verified and checked using giving the stimulus through the test bench. So the test bench will be used over here to check the behavior of the design, whether it is behaving correctly or not. Then what is the main purpose of using design verification here in IC design? To confirm the design to meet specific requirements and whether it is behaving correctly. Then what is the impact of design verification in this field then? It will ensure that if there is any bug present in the design with the RTL what the designer is going to write, will fixed in the verification stage itself. Once the bug is identified, the design will be given back to the RTL engineer to correct it. So it will avoid the behavioral mistakes or the logical errors or any specifications violated. It will be corrected in this stage itself. This is the impact of design verification. That's why it is very important, crucial stage in IC design and manufacturing process. So then very next question is that why this verification becomes so complex? Why this test bench is very complex? I got this question from one of the fresher who is looking to go into the field of design verification. So if you see this picture, you may get a question, why this complex flyovers are, right? Why this demand of such complex commute comes into picture? Because of the high density of population in the city like Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad, Kolkata, Delhi, like that, this kind of infrastructure is required. Even if this look complex, it is required, right? Similarly, in the design verification field, if the design becomes more complex and complex, the requirement of the test bench also become complex, right? But the next question is that how this test bench, you are going to write a complex test bench, will ensure the correctness of the design. What are all the different ways to do that? The first thing is that simulation based verification. We do give the stimulus through the test bench to a DUT or the design. It says this is the output I am going to get for the said stimulus, and that will be compared with the standard result. So that says simulation is completed and we are going to verify the design behavior or the functionality correctly. That is the first stage, simulation based verification. And we have a constrained random verification also. Means for the stimulus what we are going to generate from the test bench, we can put a constraint. It means only these set of values it need to generate from the test bench, so that it will give more clarity on the results, that if the design work for these set of kind of inputs, it will work for other values also. Something like that. So constraint verification give us the flexibility to give the stimulus as per the requirement. You can put a constraint for a reset, is that reset should be 0 from here onwards. You can put a constraint for the address, is that address should be more than this always. So something like that, you can put a constraint to a stimulus what you are going to generate. And then very important next thing is that we have assertions based verification. Here assertions are the conditions embedded in the design or in the test bench to check the specific property or behavior that will flag an error if the condition is violated. So the next thing is that coverage analysis. This is also a very crucial important thing in design verification. So coverage analysis measures how much design code has been exercised with this stimulus what we have generated. Whether we covered all the lines of the code with respect to the design, or we covered all the branches and the conditions and the expressions all are tested or not. So this coverage analysis give you the percentage of coverage what we did in our verification or what during testing. we need to achieve 100% coverage so that we can say all the lines of the code, all the aspects are going to be covered. Then we can have a regression testing. This regression testing is that we will run a suite of tests and rerun whenever the design is modified. Even a small modification is done to a design, we can do the regression testing where it will rerun all the possible test cases at once. So this gives us the faster checking or faster verification with respect to the different test cases are concerned. Then performance testing. Here verifies the design constraints, time constraints, whether the timing of the design met or not, whether the delay parameters what we set while designing, which will be coming as per the timing or not. So these are the different aspects of the verification we are going to do in design verification stage. That's why it look very complex. And the next thing is that why SystemVerilog over Verilog for Testbench? As I said, the object-oriented program introduced in a SystemVerilog means SystemVerilog will be a Verilog plus object-oriented programming. As we know, with OOPS, we will be getting encapsulation, abstraction, polymorphism, inheritance, class, object, all these things included. So this gives more flexibility while handling the data. It will be more comfortable other than using Verilog if we go with SystemVerilog. Then in the SystemVerilog, we will get advanced data types also. Enum data type, dynamic arrays, associative arrays, and queues are very much important in storing the data and retrieving the data back. And then constraint randomization, as I said, we can put a constraint to the stimulus what you are going to generate, and depending on the requirement, you can generate only those particular values if it is required. And then assertions as well as coverage, I already said previously, these are the very important concepts introduced in SystemVerilog, which is not available in Verilog. That's why this SystemVerilog is preferred more in the Testbench rather than Verilog. And the next question is that why UVM, since in the SystemVerilog we have everything. This is again a very good thing to know about. Why UVM over SystemVerilog? This UVM is built on top of the SystemVerilog itself. So SystemVerilog language, SystemVerilog syntax, and all the SystemVerilog concepts are going to be used over here, and UVM is just a methodology on the SystemVerilog which is built. What are the advantages of using this UVM then? It gives the standardization to a test bench. That's why all the vendors of EDA tools and all the IC design industries widely accepted this UVM for verification. So this becomes a standardization. So everyone started following UVM. This also gives the reusability. You can reuse the test bench and the most of the test bench components to the other designs also. Similarly, modularity and scalability. It means UVM flows or UVM test bench goes with the hierarchical approach. There will be different levels of the hierarchy is going to be set. Depending on that, you will be executing the test bench flow. Means it gives a complete modularity and scalability with respect to the test bench is concerned in the complex environments also. And then phase mechanism. This is the very important thing every design verification engineer fresher has to know. This phase mechanism organizes the test bench flow like one after the other step. It like stepwise execution, we can say. First we need to build the components, then we need to construct those components, then we need to connect those components clearly, then we need to go for driving the stimulus into DUT. We have a run phase, and this phase mechanism provides the clear-cut separation of different verification activities. This is the powerful feature of UVM. That is also the reason why it shifted from SystemVerilog to UVM. And then structured communication. If you have two test bench components, we need to connect those two. There is a standard connecting methodology in the UVM. TLM connection ports are going to be available. You can use the TLM ports and connect the driver, sequencer and all easily. That is a structured communication present over the different components of the test bench. And then advanced reporting mechanisms, reporting macros available in UVM. So there are UVM info, UVM error, UVM fatal. There will be a different set of priority given to them, and the reporting is easy. It is easy to debug the errors. It is easy to understand for the debugging also. These are the 6 very important things to know about UVM over SystemVerilog. And then the last question is that what is the roadmap to become a design verification engineer? If you are a fresher, you need to start with digital electronics. This is very, very important. Digital electronics need to be studied carefully and fully. If you are master in digital electronics, then you need to learn Verilog for all those concepts of digital electronics. If it is a combinational circuit, sequential circuits, FSM, whatever. So once the Verilog or VHDL is studied, then you need to step into SystemVerilog. SystemVerilog requires a bit knowledge of OOPS concepts. You need to understand what is inheritance, what is polymorphism, how actually the classes are going to be defined. These are the things you need to understand in SystemVerilog. And after that, you need to understand UVM, the standard methodology used for verification. And once the UVM you have understood for any particular small design, you can go with the protocols. Standard protocols, communication protocols are there, bus protocols are there. These AMBA protocols are very, very important. Usually you are going to use these protocols in any of the SOC communication thing. So these AMBA protocols are very important, and it will be added much value to your resume. And then comes the projects. Using these communication protocols and also some advanced concepts with some projects involving those APB, AHB concepts, you can do that as your graduation project, or the project after the graduation you can do by your own interest. Then it will add much weightage to your resume. Your resume will be easily picked if you have APB, AHB and AXI concepts, which you have a skill on that. So these are the things we can say, and this is the roadmap. If you are a college student, then you can go for design verification. So these are the very 5 important things to know about design verification, and you can start your verification journey now itself if you already know digital design as well as Verilog. Anyhow, these things you have studied in your academics itself. Now you can step into UVM directly or starting from SystemVerilog. This is the right time to get into the industry. There are many openings for even for the fresher as well as the experienced candidates. So that follow this method and you will landing in a VLSI field. Thank you.